So it's Cesaro versus Jinder. Is Cesaro a heel baby face?
Well, he was a heel, and he was a heel, he was a face. What more can I say? So the no strange bedfellows, they've been to.
Hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever I am joined to my left by Jinder Mahal's secret opponent. It is Jack Jones.
Hello.
And to my right, it's Rusev's secret opponent. It's Will Sanchez.
Hello.
And I am your host, Ben Chance. And if that doesn't give you an idea, it won't, because you won't remember that. But you might remember what happened in the main event of Fastlane 2017. Have you enjoyed any of this?
Some of it, but not a lot.
It's so boring.
It's just like watching Raw.
It's such a boring pay-per-view. But anyway, stay tuned for boredom.
You sold it to them,
Did SmackDown have a pay-per-view this same month?
Yeah.
Bray wins the belt.
Elimination Chamber, which was a much better pay-per-view than this one. It's amazing how much depth they've got in the roster, though, in terms of how they managed to get 27 matches on this card, or whatever it feels like. The event itself took place on the 5th of March, one day before Jack's birthday, 2017. Did you watch it live, I assume? Well, not live, you would have stayed up for this.
No, I did watch some of it live, yeah.
You watch some of it
If
live?
I'm off, I always stay up and watch a bit of whatever's on live.
Just sadist.
Oh yeah, I quickly went to bed.
I saw a big show and thought, right,
Yep.
Okay, make it that far.
Second time in pay-per-view history as well for us, or in podcast history, I should say, for us. The four home nations of our podcast, which is America, the UK, Canada, and Australia, all went with the same number one. This is the first time since Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. It is The Shape of You by
that was number one like all year.
Yeah. And it's infected the world as well, that song. I hate The Shape of You. Rubbish. Ed Sheeran and your team's racked.
Tractors.
Topping the box office was Logan Paul. No, it wasn't. It was Logan. The story of the death of Wolverine.
Good film.
Yeah, it was released in black and white as well in some places, for it to sort of heighten the gore. And
very good.
Obviously, at the moment, very much in vogue is bringing down big, powerful people. Debuting on British TV, the second most evil human being hosted it. It's obviously 5 Gold Rings.
dear.
Everyone with silver hair, it all goes wrong for him. And the Nintendo Switch was released 2 days prior to this event, so most people chose to play Mario Kart than watch this event, I would imagine.
They watch these.
And, of course, it is a podcast. West Bromwich Albion never win on podcast weekends because we lost at home 2-0 to Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
Not that sounded clueless, or
It was. I think it was the last season before. This is where we stopped playing for the... I think we beat the Arsenal like the week after. Because he always sort of won one game in and around Jack's birthday and then went, that's us done. We're finished for the season
13th, I think.
Something like that, yeah. And Liverpool obviously played Arsenal, because they do on every podcast, and beat Arsenal.
And the time of recording on the day.
Yeah, every time. I told you.
Bloody Arsenal. Piss off.
So, as I said, this is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. When did they stop doing the Raw exclusive?
The kickoff for?
Oh yeah, I'll throw to you in a minute. But just
The second time.
yeah, this is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. When did they stop doing the
Stop
exclusive?
year war it, I think. Because I think it was on in this year, and then 2018 you don't have exclusive.
They done this year, well, 2016 into 2017, because they had 2 every month, which was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then I think they quickly just put them back together.
I know they plastered it, and then they did like a thing, didn't they, about them all coming back together, like a promo.
Feels so good.
But as we always do, we make Jack suffer for the podcast. As we send Jack to pre-show city. So tell us, Jack, what happened on the pre-show.
Well, it's a panel pre-show, obviously. It's Booker T, Renee Young, your favourites, and Pete Rosenberg.
Did she go, whoa!
That's another podcast later. So, I'll just tell you the segments that matter. I ain't going to tell you they talk about matches.
Yes.
So, Noam Dar and Alicia Fox are backstage,
Fox.
and Brian Kendrick turns up, and so they're going to go on an opportunity to teach with him, to team with him, excuse me. They're going to teach Tozawa a lesson, and Noam Dar says he'll do anything for Alicia Fox.
Was he asking if they're lizard people as well?
No. Brian Kendrick just says he doesn't want Alicia Fox to have a meltdown, and then she has a meltdown. So that's the end of that shot. The Bar are on the panel.
Can I just stop you? What the hell is that? Sorry, what is that storyline? When did that happen? What is
It's a 205 exclusive.
when did that happen? And Alicia Fox are a thing.
And I think
Yeah,
they're feuding with Akira Tozawa.
Brian Kendrick's feuding with Akira Tozawa because he wants Akira Tozawa to team with him, but he won't. So now I'm going to fight.
I hate you because you want him.
205 Live.
Triple H eventually, or I don't know who's doing it at this point.
Probably Vince.
I think it was probably Triple H. Yeah, actually. The Bar are on the panel. They say they're robbed of the titles, and the remaster got screwed out of the titles. Cesaro just stands up just to get a pop. He just says, "Watch this," and then stands up, and everybody goes, "Way!" And he's annoyed that he's talking and not fighting. And Sheamus does the same thing and gets booed. And they want the next shot of the titles, basically. Foley is backstage in our next segment, and he's on the phone.
He looked very weird.
All the way through.
He's on the phone, which we'll see later, with Stephanie McMahon.
With Lydia.
Yeah.
So he's on with her.
Loudspeaker. Oh.
Yeah, loudspeaker. There'll be a great segment with that later.
Yeah.
She's delayed. He puts her on hold because Jinder Mahal's turned up. He says he and Rusev are no longer a team. And Rusev and Lana turn up, and he books them both in singles matches, and they can figure out who fights first themselves. Yeah.
Nice of him to book his show like that. I'm not asked.
Yeah.
What was you going to fill the show with, Foley?
So,
How the hell have you got a match on it?
I've got half hour free. Sort it out. Next is a Ask segment that we had the brilliant one with Lana last time.
Yeah.
Charlie Caruso is hosting it, and it's Ask Joe.
Oh,
It's more Joe.
Joe.
If you're confused as to
Not
which
just
Joe this is. Question 1 is, why did you side with Triple H and attack Seth Rollins? And he says because he gave him an opportunity and it was a big impact to take out Seth Rollins. Number 2 is, how do you plan on destroying Sami Zayn?
Yes.
And he says he's done it once and he'll do it again and he'll break him.
I'm going to break him.
Because he disrespected
Hang on, well, the question, how do you plan on doing it?
Yeah,
He didn't really answer the question.
I'm going to do a headbutt. Or anything like that.
I'm going to break his legs.
I shall break him. What's your plans for WrestleMania?
What was his plans?
I don't think he's on the show. I think he gets injured.
I don't think he's got that.
I think he's injured.
Does he say that?
He says, I'm going to get injured. He says, all will be revealed.
Here comes The Rock.
And that's it.
I wonder what his plans was.
I don't know. It was. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just involved in the Triple H.
But yeah, well, he's only just debuted.
He
a bit weird.
he don't even interfere in the Triple H set,
No.
does he? Don't even come out. I think
And
he hurts
then-
his legs or something.
Then our match.
Both of them.
I know he did something. Both of his legs.
Our match is Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick. And Noam Dar. It's 10 minutes. I won't go blow for blow. It's just pretty bog standard tag team match with the faces going over. And the confusing thing for me is Rich Swann gets the pin, who is the most irrelevant man who hasn't been seen, but he gets the pin. The only thing is Austin Aries is on commentary. He's on commentary later.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, Noam Dar looks like a blind man who's had his sunglasses taken off him. So I don't know, but that's what he says.
Austin Aries, you're a straight
not in any segment, not in terms of any move.
No, he looks
blind. Just looks like a blind man who hasn't got sunglasses.
Eat your banana and shut up.
Everybody gets a bit confused, and then the finish happens, which is a big splash. And that is the end of our kickoff. What a show!
The question will always be, would you now buy the show?
They haven't sold it very well to me. All I know is Jinder and Rusev got to sort it out themselves.
They even mentioned the main event.
Well, they'll do it. They're doing the little talk about who's going to win.
Oh, okay.
But there's no segment.
But no package or,
The only segment that means anything is Rusev and Jinder because it impacts two matches.
Not to Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar.
How wonderful.
On this road, momentum is everything. You gotta think fast and move even faster. And if you stop, well, you don't want to do that. When you're this close, you have to keep on pushing. Tonight, there will be treacherous turns.
The queen of pay-per-view is invoking her rematch clause, and I'm gonna take back my women's championship. Hell no, I'm not giving up this women's championship!
The human-sized barriers.
I'm the baddest man to set foot in the WWE.
Strowman may end Roman Reigns once and for all right here.
How do you stop the monster among men?
And cataclysmic collisions.
I waited to be a champion my entire life, and now that I am, there is nothing I will not do to keep it that way.
Kevin Owens, it looks like you and your title are next.
Well, the highlight package to open the pay-per-view highlights the title match between Kevin Owens and Goldberg, who is making his second pay-per-view appearance in 12 years and his first title match.
Yeah, second match, I think.
Well, he was in the Rumble, or
third, of course, yeah, he was in the Rumble. Who threw him out of the Rumble?
Taker or
Taker.
And then never. They sorted it out.
They sorted it out. 2 years later.
We might check out in a future podcast.
I thought we had.
Have we seen that?
I don't think we've seen.
I don't think we have seen that
concussion match.
I don't think we have.
I thought we saw Goldberg.
We saw Taker sit up and look fed up.
We saw Fat.
Jack would have already drawn that.
I got that in the back pocket ready. I'll do everything we're eventually going to do.
Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman as we wait for Roman versus Taker, which is sort of ticking along in the background. And Bayley defending her Raw Women's Championship against the Queen of Pay-Per-View, Charlotte Flair, who is undefeated on pay-per-view, which is the story of the whole bloody show, isn't it? Everything is bloody undefeated.
Braun's undefeated on singles matches as well.
Yeah. It's just, anyway, we'll get to all that cack later. After that,
You're enjoying this?
Oh, God, this show. We were introduced to the announce team, which is Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton, and we head to the ring as Sami Zayn's theme plays us in. His feud with Samoa Joe has been built around Sami Zayn just being happy to be there, while Samoa Joe says that he's there to win shit. Joe is probably looking his most like Jack. I put
Yes,
here.
he looks a lot like you. You see, when he wears like the shirt, he turned that on the Raw.
This is his most looking like you in his career, I think. And basically, that's
Samoa Jack.
That's built the match. Other than Joe choked out Sammy in a recent Raw build after he'd made comment about Joe not being Sami Zayn or something.
Yeah, basically Seth's injured, so we're just going to have to use Sammy instead.
Spivvied Sami Zayn into it. Sami Zayn's been on the show 6 months at this point.
He sort of dipped in and out. He come in with the Cena and then got injured there, and he's just. I think he comes back at. Did he come back at that Rumble?
No, it was the following Rumble because he was feuding with Braun at the time of the Rumble.
And Samoa Joe, as you correctly say, is making his pay-per-view debut, certainly on the WWE brand anyway.
Yes.
We get the NXT history bit of these two before we go into it. And Samoa Joe, as I've just said, is making his pay-per-view debut. He kicks the legs of Zayn as Samoa Joe's successes over Cesaro, Seth, and Roman Reigns are talked about by the commentary. He grapevines the leg of Zayn and blocks Zayn's hip toss only to take head scissors. Joe then suckers Zayn in with a right jab. There's a massive Pele-style Inzaguri in the corner. Pele, as they call it.
Pele?
Crouch kick.
That's a crouch.
Joe bow and arrows Zayn up, and then Zayn rolls through to get a quick 1 count. Joe takes the knees from under Zayn as he rallies, and then Zayn gets the crowd behind him with a lariat. Joe fights it, but eventually is taken down with a blue thunderbomb for a 2, and then Joe recovers with a atomic drop, big boot, and senton combo. He gets a 2, much to the ire of Joe. Nice scoop slam, as the match is kept to a nice pace. Zayn rallies again as Joe jabs him, causing Zayn to drop. He schoolboys Joe and hits a series of kicks. There's a second overhead Inzaguri to Zayn, this time whilst he's on the top rope. Zayn, though, power blocks a superplex and tries a sunset flip power bomb. It's enough to stun Joe on the turnbuckle, but he counters the Helluva kick with a Uranagi and locks in the Kikina clutch. And Zayn passes out and is done. Jack, thoughts on your match with Sami Zayn?
I remember. Yeah, it was alright. I don't mind it. I thought it was a nice opener. 2 strong characters. The crowd cares about him.
Yep.
Made Joe look strong. Makes him look like a monster. Sami Zayn's a very good babyface, sympathetic. Can lose every week and still be over as hell.
Yeah.
So I think it was paced quite well. I think it was a nice length. About 8 minutes, 9 minutes, so they overstayed its welcome, and it made Joe look strong, which I don't really know where it's going to, Mania, but it does look strong, and he has to look strong, so I thought it was okay.
I'd agree, Jack. Sam, sorry.
Yeah, really good opener, good big man underdog kind of match, and they work well together, these two, so got nothing to complain about. So.
I thought the match was good. I thought it highlighted the 2 key characteristics of the call-ups, really, because you want to get over that Zayn is going to be the underdog character, and Joe is got to be the dominant, methodical, choke you out kind of character. Monster. I thought they've got good chemistry, and you could see that. I think, to be honest, more time could have got the crowd involved a little bit more, because the problem was, I don't think they ever thought that anyone other than Joe was going to win. If they'd have had more hope spots and more time to build towards, a couple of real near falls for Sami Zayn, other than the Blue Thunderbomb, which never felt like it was going to get the win, but gets the pop. I wish it just had a bit more time, which there's definitely ways to give a lot more time on this pay-per-view.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yes.
Bailey really needs a character, but she cuts a promo saying she's up for a challenge. She's up to the stakes for the match, asking Charlotte to prove who she says she is by leaving Dana Brooke in the back. Dana Brooke. Not Dana won the Eurovision.
Yeah.
Won,
Ash by Elegant.
Nia Jax comes over. I know, yeah. She says she's going to rip Bailey's friend to shreds tonight, that being Sasha, and then she's coming for her title. I'm all for Nia Jax being the bully, but I thought Bailey gave her too much. And they said, fuck off. Like, if I'd have said that, then...
piss off!
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I hate that sort of... You know what? Every babyface in this era feels like they've got to be the underdog. It's all underdog babyfaces, and you can say that.
Except see.
I think Bailey having a long come up.
Yeah, and it is her character.
Really fleshed out.
And in fairness to her, it is her character, isn't it? She's happy-go-lucky.
Nia is,
hugger.
I think she is undefeated at this point, I believe.
That was it, yeah, Nia's undefeated.
Because the Braun on Braun, that was just doing like squash matches more than against the jobbers at the time.
Nia is good at, I mean, a lot of people don't like Nia Jax, but she is just a natural bully heel.
She's a natural heel.
Yeah.
She's very good at it.
She should never turn babyface and then say she's been bullied by a little...
We've done that. Well, we don't want that.
Enzo and Cass are out, no doubt. There's no doubting how over they are with everyone but Sam. We run through the catchphrases. They give some love to Milwaukee. Enzo mocks bald heads and mocks Gallows and Anderson.
One of these is called Bill.
The one thing I will say is they give him way too much time.
That's the problem with Enzo. It's like it does go on a bit.
Yeah, Enzo,
shut up.
You've made your point. You've only got to... You make a nice little joke and all your catchphrases. Yeah. Some of the jokes are just shit as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a Mr. Clean reference, but Cass rounds it out by a bit of spelling, which he does badly. But
spelling's over.
Yeah.
Spelling's over. He's wrong. Swat.
Spell it wrong. Swat.
Swat.
The AEW version of it.
Swat. Oh, don't give Tony Khan any ideas. We'll sign bloody Enzo.
No. I mean, you know, he's toxic, isn't he, Enzo? He was a wrong for a week, or isn't it? The Raw champs are out, and they are Gallows and Anderson. Again, have they been on this show about 6 months? I think they
joined after Mania, with AJ.
Yeah. Cole drops reference to the IWGP Tag Team titles, which Gallows and Anderson held, along with WWE belts, which makes them only the third team to do it behind the Steiners and the Dudleys. Cass starts off with a big move to Anderson, punishing Anderson in the face corner. There's nice double teamwork as Gallows is clotheslined to the outside. Enzo is used as a missile by Cass. And then Gallows and Anderson sucker in Enzo, who takes two big running boots. Enzo is grounded in the ring and isolated in the heel corner. Anderson with a few knee drops as Cole calls Anderson one of the best in the world. That cannot be a Vince reference. I can't believe he's putting over. Yeah,
not a chance.
I wonder what Vince was doing that night.
He was having a poo.
Don't know where though.
He's obsessed with shit. Enzo rolls through a headlock and almost reaches his partner. Enzo steps Anderson, but he lands on his feet. He tries to drag Enzo out, but rallies, and he's clotheslined down. And then he dodges Gallows, who goes into the ring post. Anderson, though, is up to intercept the tag with a big boot. Gallows then takes over with a big uppercut. He misses a charge and an elbow, and Anderson misses a charge of his own. Enzo builds to the hot tag, which he makes. Cass hits a fall-away slam and a few slams. Big sidewalk slam, Empire elbow. Cass big boots Gallows off the apron, but he's rolled up. He kicks out, rocket launcher, but Gallows saves his the title reign by putting the leg of Anderson on the rope. Gallows then sends Cass into the barricade. Carl Anderson hits a big boot as Enzo's entering through the ring, and despite Enzo briefly getting his foot on the ropes, Gallows pushes it off. And the champs retain. Thoughts on this match, Sam?
I mean, it was okay. I don't like the finish though, because I don't know if that was meant to happen in putting his foot on and it being put off, or knowing Enzo, he just fucked up and put his leg on the rope, so he had to push it off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
I thought
I'm already bored.
Yeah. I thought it went on way too long. The sell part was just too long for me, and it took the crowd out of the match. I think that's the problem with Enzo and Cass matches as well, is that they are very formulaic in terms of that. But I thought them obviously trying to keep them in the title picture was giving them a loss. They want to keep Gallows and Anderson strong. And it is difficult to beat Enzo and Cass without there being an out for Enzo and Cass, because as soon as you beat Enzo and Cass, especially Enzo, they lose any credibility as contenders. Whereas there's some people who can lose, and like Nia Jax, for instance, and she can stay credible. Whereas if Enzo loses, and Sami Zayn, if Enzo loses, I don't think you would believe that they could win the belts, and then you would have to naturally split them up quickly. So you've got to give him an out, i.e. he had his foot on the ropes. So if they did it purposefully, it probably worked. But the match was just too long for me. Jack?
Yeah, I thought it was too long. I got bored during the hope spots because they just did too many of them. Gallows and Anderson are decent, but I don't think they're fleshed out enough in terms of a proper gimmick. They're very Japan, which is fine for wrestling fans, but for the casual, I think they're just looking at them and go, well, what do you do?
But hasn't that been their problem all the time? Still in the company now, but they can't be used, really, because they don't... Especially, I think with tag teams, you've got to have a lot of gimmick, because I know Vince hates tag team wrestling, but it's you've got to have that. You've got to have a mix. The best tag team divisions have always had a mix of strong gimmicks.
Yeah, I mean bees.
He's got over it. Mac and bees. Listen, Paul Levesque. I'm telling you, make and bees. It will work. And then bald as well. So just show the top of the edge, and the ref won't know which one's which.
Enzo and Cass. The problem is you've got the big man who can't take really any heat because he's big Cass.
Exactly.
And then the small man is very weedy and not like just a normal wrestler, to where he has to be beaten up every time.
All the time, yeah. So
it does just become the same match over and over, like you say. I thought it was a bit of a raw match. It just went on too long.
Yeah.
It's the right winners, but it went on too long. I don't really want to see them again fight each other. I think it should be done. I know that it's Mania and they have the big ladder and the Hardys come back, which is
thank God the Hardys.
The whole thing with the February pay-per-view, and part of the reason why we're reviewing this, although this was a March pay-per-view, is it's really, really difficult for it not to be pointless.
Yeah,
because most of the story is already being built. So for me, if I'm going to have this sort of show, you've got to have some reason. Like, this is the only match that I looked at and thought, well, that could have done a title change here and made it relevant. Because if they're going to be in a multi-man match at Mania, and they know that, it doesn't matter, because you can switch it back at Mania if you want to. And at Mania, that match ain't going to matter. So you might as well have dropped the belts for Gallows and Anderson. And I know they worry about Gallows. You could argue that would make Gallows and Anderson weak, but Cass is big enough to look believable. And obviously, Vince is already sort of eyeing up Cass as moving him away from that bill.
I mean, they could have got rid of the February pay-per-views like the December and keep the Rumble as the big one in January and then lead to Mania, and then you can do all the rest after.
I kind of understand it from the chamber point of view. If you've got two distinct brands, and if the one doesn't win Rumble, you have the chamber. That's all. That's kind of always worked and can always work. Obviously, this time it was for the belt anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think Orton had won the Rumble, but he hadn't said what belt that he...
So actually, that they didn't do what that is, but obviously...
It's like Luke Harper, did he?
Yeah, because there was all that story, and they did a battle royal for the double contender when clearly Harper won, but then they said, no, both of them fell out, let's have a match.
They should have just get it off.
Yeah.
Foley's on the phone. He's chatting to Stephanie. He's on loudspeaker. Stephanie's watching. She asks Foley to make sure that the women's and world title matches go off without a hitch. Jack, you watched the product. Not going to make much spoiler on the main events, but they didn't necessarily go without a hitch. Did anything happen with this? Is this going to lead to dissension between Stephanie and Foley?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think anything really happened.
I think Foley does leave, though.
Foley does leave,
and you get
near the end because it switches. They switch them up there because Brian switches as well. I think.
Well, Brian
becomes Paige.
Becomes a wrestler.
Becomes Paige,
later. But I'm sure this year because Stephanie gets
there after
injured
Mania,
and then Vince comes out and then says, "Here's your new GM, Tangle."
Yeah, I think Fowley just goes to Mania and then that's it.
Yeah, and then he just walks.
I don't think he gets beat up.
No, he just leaves. No,
It just seems very strange that they feel like they're setting something up here and then nothing happens. Stephanie is going to stay on the phone and make sure that...
Think of your bills.
Oh, by the way, Stephanie's stuck on a plane somewhere.
She's watching it,
Yeah.
and then she's going to stay on the phone
Yeah.
to say, "My God!"
So Foley pulls the cord a little bit further off, and then it
God.
gets disconnected. I think we're supposed to believe the cords fell out.
Yeah, we're supposed to believe that he's sort of done it on purpose as well, because he sort of does that little oh my God. Should have just put his finger on his breast like that as well to be a naughty schoolboy. But it's like, all the crowd was like, that was shit.
You make fucking phone.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I took it off. You don't like it. Piss off.
Get the barbed wire bat out.
Exactly. You can't just pissing.
Have you not got a mobile?
Why are you calling me from a plane?
Well,
Stupid woman.
we get the video package for Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. Nia Jax has been bullying Sasha, who's got an injured knee, and she's been dominant in the feud so far. We're introduced to the ring announcers at ringside, which are the Spanish announce table and the German announce table.
Why the German? Why the German?
What would you
Why
choose?
not? I don't know, it just seemed weird to have Germans there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
Bloody
Germans.
German. Well, it's like the sunbeds that put the towels down.
Right. So we've got the English here, we got the Spanish here, and whoever gets it
Yes, just a
should do this.
Yeah.
Like the Germans.
It's always going to be the German.
We're taking over.
Take it off. I'm going to take off the Spanish.
That's why Jack's network always starts with the German commentary, because they're there first.
Long game.
Sasha is facing 3-0 Nia Jax in pay-per-view matches. Another win would make her in the same league as the only two other women who've gone 4-0, which are Charlotte Flair and, of course, Fabulous Moolah, who probably went 57 million and now. Banks shows heart early on with forearms and dropkick. Nia, though, powers... Oh, God, this match. I'm just probably living it in my head. Nia powers through and she clubs her down, hits a nice backbreaker. The backbreaker hold now as Sasha is clotheslined down and gets a 2. As Beth Phoenix is likened to Nia Jax ahead of her Hall of Fame induction. I think she was inducted.
Yeah, she was that year. She was the woman.
She was the woman. Sasha escapes a hold, but is tossed across the ring with ease. Nia continues to work the shoulder and back of Sasha, and every time she escapes, she slams her down. Nia locks in a torture rack and squats with Sasha on her shoulders. Sasha rolls through, locks in a front sleeper, and then a regular sleeper. Sasha hits a fairly slow roll-through DDT and locks in a bank statement. The crowd pop, they want the tap, but Nia powers out, hits a big spine buster, big leg drop to the back of Sasha. However, Sasha rolls up Nia and then randomly does a bridge to make the pinfall look less effective. But it manages to beat Nia Jax, and that's basically it. I can't believe how dull that match was. This is the third match that we've watched, and in 3 matches you've had Sami Zayn, Enzo, and Sasha just constantly get beat up by people bigger than them. Oh, yeah. Everyone it's just the most formulaic. How have you not had a more competitive? I know. Amazing. They either not booked this card to have more competitive matches. Sasha could have really caught Nia off guard and out-wrestled her or something. Just something different. I don't begrudge the Joe one. It makes sense. It's his first one. Yeah. And Sami Zayn naturally fights like that. I don't particularly begrudge the Enzo one, because that's how they got to do it. Sasha Banks can't then do exactly the same thing, get beat up for 95% of the match, and here's a crappy roll-up and a beaten Nia Jax. And also, what do records not matter? I mean, they go on about records so they can break them, but they do that 4 times tonight. I mean, it's just like ridiculous. I hated most of this match, and I've got to be honest. The more I watch of Sasha Banks, the more I can't, for the life of me, understand why she's heralded as one of the best wrestlers, because some of the stuff she does just looks really weak.
How dare you?
I know. But
how dare you?
She probably does get better, and she's definitely a good character.
She went to Japan.
But in the ring, she's just she's not a Japanese.
He's a victim.
He's a victim.
Victim, he was forced to have sex with that woman.
He'll be brought in by AEW and nicknamed the Victim.
That would have been in WWE.
Anyone hate the match as much as me, Jack?
I didn't hate it as much as you, but I didn't like it. It wasn't very good. It was very boring. The crowd felt like, oh my god, why have we bought tickets to this shit?
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that Nia lost as either. I thought she should have won. The belts are up like this big. I'm probably going to end up with Bailey, but I've just lost to your mate. And they didn't even get any heat back after. I just stood in the ring and went, I'm so upset. So it was really shit. I don't like Sasha as a face either. I think she's a better heel because she is a heel. She is a bit of a bitch.
I don't think the thing is, by her very nature.
Well, that's a gimmick, isn't it?
By her very nature, she's the almost Logan Paul-esque kind of character. She brags about the fact that she's got money and she's successful and all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't begrudge that character, and there will be some people that like and identify that with that. You know, the influencer kind of thing. But that makes you a heel. Like, it just makes you a heel. Which I thought maybe they were teasing with the way that they did the Bailey match and what's happening with the Bailey. So with the Bailey, the old Bailey, the God. Sam, shit on it more.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I can't say that anymore. We can't say that anymore.
No, and your dollop on top.
I wasn't a fan of the finish, but I did think exactly the same as you when I was watching. I thought the way I'm looking at Sasha is the way I looked at Lita, thinking you are very overrated. You're very bendy,
which makes me hate you.
No, it ain't that. It's
just a very strong character.
It's a strong character, she's got a good strong character. Not as good as what people think. I think we found this out with Kennedy. Or Anderson, when we watched him back, he's like, you're a bit shit, really. Everybody thought, oh, he's good, he got this gimmick, but when you look back, it's like...
There's no hiding from Better Call Creative Kennedy, I'll tell you that.
Sasha, I mean, she's definitely a heel. She's not a face. Yeah. You could root for her. And it's just like, I looked at her, I just went, I just don't care.
Yeah, break her back, I ain't bothered.
I wouldn't get that far.
WrestleMania this year is the ultimate thrill ride. It's stylized around a roller coaster, isn't it?
I think Vince had this thing of if we call it Granddaddy, it sounds old.
So we'll call him the thrill ride.
Yeah, well, there's been 33 of them, so he's old.
I mean, what?
And that's the whole reason why it's so over.
And I think what he doesn't realise is fans like statistics. The reason the Royal Rumble is half as successful as it is because people love statistics. King of the Rings loves statistics. And the Super Bowls are numbered.
Yeah.
They'll always be numbered. I mean, we can't do it with the FA Cup. Because you could do
27.
The great granddad of them all. The FA Cup. Hey, we had Don King that one year. On the advert.
Earlier we see Bowley making 2 singles matches, which Jack would have seen twice now.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Lucky you.
I'm so happy I saw it again.
Now, what's happened to Rusev? I remember when he was fighting Cena at Mania 30 and he looked like he was going to be 31, sorry. And he was going to be really dominant. He had no shoes.
He put them shoes on.
He broke his foot, didn't he? And he got some boots. Yeah. And since then, he's been shit. I can't even remember Jinder and Rusev being a team, but they were.
No, they were.
Jinder has he had his title?
No, that's
in May.
He's straight.
By May, he's world champion.
When you look at these, you just think, one of these he's got to be world champ, and it's
in 2 months.
But
that's remarkable.
But
what a rise!
7 years time, he will be part of the most watched segment Tony Khan will have a meltdown about it.
Well, there you go. There's no stopping Jinder. You can't hinder Jinder. That's the truth. Right, so basically he's going to announce I'm going to find out who them fighting, and then I'm going to have to decide between them. And both of them want to go first, so they have a fight. It ends with Rusev going over a barrier, and we then get introduced to Cesaro, who is Jinder Mahal.
Why the fuck were you moaning earlier?
I don't know.
God, you're back.
The Bar are a thing, so Sheamus does come out to his own theme after Cesaro's theme. And then he just
Very
doesn't bother
early,
you. So
Go on, you fight him.
Do it for the Bar, but I do love the Bar. I mean, what a brilliant team. So it's Cesaro versus Jinder. Is Cesaro a heel baby face?
Well, he was a heel, and he was a heel, he was a face. What more can I say? So they're no strange bedfellows, they've been to. But Cesaro's actually loved, and Sheamus isn't liked. And that is the crux of Raw.
Enjoy it.
Raw,
Brilliant.
SmackDown was a hell of a lot better at this point.
The crowd is very flat.
And the headbangers and everything.
The crowd is very flat as Jinder is sent into the corner. Jinder suckers in Cesaro. Irish rips him into the corner. Eats a big forearm, though, for a 2 and a double stomp. I mean, Cesaro's power is ridiculous. He tosses Jinder around and then he catches Jinder in the end. Jinder's a beefy bloke, and he just hits a backbreaker. Jinder's is.
Yeah, that's what he said when he come back with his big muscles.
Fucking spots on his back.
Sorry, I can't believe that. But I mean, I don't really care about steroids anyway. I just think just use them.
You better do them.
Do them properly.
You know.
Yeah.
You'll probably die.
Just
right.
Do them like Bill Kazmaier.
Just ask the Warlord, because he's still living.
That's what I mean. So go on about steroids being bad for you. Explain Warlord. He is a steroid.
He used to wait for when he had a pay-per-view. I'll be on him a month before. And then after, I don't bother.
I'd love to have seen him fat Warlord in the house shows. He starts selling the back though as he struggles to power Jinder into his corner suplex, which he normally does with ease. Jinder drop kicks the lower back. There's a short arm clothesline and chin lock. Cesaro with one arm suplex, but again, this match is already starting to drag. Big series of uppercuts, big running uppercuts in both corners. Cesaro sets up Jinder and hits a 619, which he calls the Swiss 19, which I didn't realise was a thing, but I assume he stops doing it. Well, Ray's back soon, isn't he? Yeah. Top rope crossbody for a 2. Jinder stops the swing, holding the ropes, and drops Cesaro. He spots an angry Rusev, though, who's back to his feet. This distraction leads to a push-up European uppercut for the win for Cesaro.
He never won with that, and then he beats him with it again.
He beats future world champion Jinder Mahal.
Oh my God.
We might as well talk about that match before we go on straight into the next segment. Pointless. Any advance on that? And bad.
So long as well. I mean, I just watch it and think, oh, Cesaro's obviously a star. They care about him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it was so crap. None of the terms of what they do.
This is a Raw match.
It's just pointless, and no one cares about Jinder at this point. All Rusev. So why do they give a shit that they're having 2 one-on-one matches? And why did Rusev getting up distract Jinder? Why did he need to be distracted for the win? He was getting his arse kicked all match.
Yeah. I mean, does Jinder and Rusev do anything at the Mania?
They're in the Battle Royal.
So they don't even have like a single
one. Joe Rowley and Gronk.
Because he looks at the Gronk. And on the subtitles, his name is Jinder My Hole. So there you go.
I think that's what everybody said when he won the title.
Oh, God.
See, that would have been better.
Why
if you watched the subtitles.
Why don't they just put Jinder v. Rusev?
Basically, it was a Raw match, and even for Raw, I would have turned it over.
Only gone for a piss.
I just don't understand when you're obviously pivoting to Cesaro being a tag team wrestler and pivoting away from Jinder being a tag team wrestler to a singles. You have a singles and the tag team wrestler wins. Like, none of this makes any sense. Why would you bury... I know losses don't necessarily constitute a bury, and Cesaro's got to be kept hot as well, but do we need this on a pay-per-view? Do we need to see Jinder and Rusev lose so we can have a match to decide the biggest loser? Sorry, yes, of course.
The biggest loser? You're a really good
Sam, anything to add?
It was a pointless Raw match. People had to pay for this. Why would you pay for this?
God, we had the network.
Exactly.
Thank God the network's around. Well, was.
Rusev lays in a vicious haymaker on Jinder. It's huge aggressive work in the corner. He batters Jinder, and it's a big kick. And then his opponent is... the Big Show. Oh, yeah.
It's funny, out of this segment, the only one in WWE is Jinder.
And he's the most over. Take that, Khan.
Is Rusev at this point? Is he Russian or is he
Bulgarian?
He's Bulgarian.
He's become Bulgarian.
He said on his thing Bulgarian route. So he's...
I'm going to say it's not fashionable to be Russian, is it?
No, not anymore. You can't be Russian.
No, you can't be Russian.
So yes, he's going to be facing the very bearded Big Show. Rusev
Is his right team facing him?
not quite yet, but he looks a little bit put off. He charges at Show, gets kicked down. There's a big USA chant, so our American hero Big Show lays in chops in the corner.
Where's Duggan? That's who it should have been.
We spill outside briefly, but Rusev takes punishment and is choked on the bottom rope. There's a big headbutt as Rusev tries to crawl away, and a corner splash. Big final cut, but it only gets two. Rusev is selling the punishment great and taking big stiff kicks. Rusev rallies a little bit, but he's clotheslined down. It does get some offense though, taking out the knee of Big Show. Rusev now grounds the giant, works the leg. Show, that goes on for a bit. Show drops his big tree trunk legs on Rusev, hits a side slam for a 2.
His limb-like legs.
Yeah, it's easy to choke slam, but his knee's taken out. A big kick to the head of Show. 3 of them, in fact, but he kicks out. He's annoyed. That's his finish, isn't it? Or part of his finish, anyway.
The kicks and then his next bit, the accolade.
The accolade, yeah. He goes for the accolade, but Show tosses him off. Tosses him off the top of him. He hits 3 big choke slams. Now, I don't get this.
Oh, my word.
You beat the bloke. You just put him in the corner. And then, he drags on. He might as well do the Kevin Owens spot where he goes outside for about 3 hours. He has to decide, I'm gonna get my big old meat up hands, and he just punches him in the face in the corner.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant, because the crowd, some of them laugh. Because it's so comical, and he props him in the corner and thinks, that's it.
Yeah, it can't. Well, the thing is, in fairness to Big Show, the only way to make that look effective, because the man is just down, is if he punches him in the face. So he can't very well just whack him in the face. It's such a stupid spot. Why didn't they just have him do the knockout punch, drag him up and do the choke slam? What a way to bury Rusev. Oh, God. I mean, it's probably the better of the 2 impromptu matches, but again, it's so filler, and the ending just dragged on and on and on. It would have been better if he'd have just beat him quick. Just get it over with quickly. And then keep Jinder involved in somehow or something. Rusev
will get up on the apron, and then he turns around. The punch or whatever, and that's it.
Then that's it. If you're gonna do it, but let's face it, it shouldn't have been done on pay-per-view, really. It just doesn't need to happen. Sam, thoughts on it?
This just said to me, why single-branded pay-per-views and crap? Because you got to fill it with this shite that you could have done on fucking main event.
In fairness, it is better than Billy Gunn versus Kenzo.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. But, I mean, at least there was some sort of story. But why did Jinder do anything? He just went, all right, then I'm fucking gone then. Just don't make sense. None of this
really,
makes sense.
do we feel that the Jinder and Rusev angle has been actually furthered because of this? I don't think.
I feel they're a stronger team now.
I just think actually they both. I'm now disinterested to find out who is shittest.
And again, one of them's world champion.
What a story! You think you're special?
Which one of these is shitter? You decide. Jack?
I mean, it's crap. It should have just happened really quickly, but that punch at the end, I did laugh a lot. I thought that was amazing. I'm glad it happened for that, but in reality, it's bloody awful.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest at this time. He is the Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. Kevin, tonight is your biggest match to date.
You gotta explain that. Why? Why is tonight my biggest match to date? Is it because Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in 1 minute and 26 seconds? Is that it? Well, let me ask you this. Who else has Goldberg beaten in the last few months? Well, let's go back further. Who else has he beaten in the last 5 years? Last 10 years? Yeah, you're quiet because the answer is nobody. In the last decade, Goldberg has beaten one man once. And that's supposed to impress me. You know why it doesn't? Because just like I said on Raw, over the course of the last 2 years, I have been in the ring with the absolute best. The best this industry has to offer, and I've beaten them all. Anyone from Dean Ambrose to Seth Rollins to Roman Reigns to John Cena, I have beaten them all. So do you honestly think that I'm going to let someone who has no respect for me or everything I've accomplished take this title away from me tonight? No. No, tonight I will outsmart Bill Goldberg. I will out-wrestle Bill Goldberg. I will do whatever I want with Bill Goldberg, and I will beat him, just like I beat all the other guys before, and just like I'll beat anybody else they put in front of me. I don't care if it's Sami Zayn or Brock Lesnar or The Rock. I don't care who they put in front of me. I will beat everyone because there's a reason I am the Universal Champion, and that reason is I am the best. And not even the mighty Goldberg can change that. This is the Kevin Owens Show. It's the Kevin Owens Show tonight. It's going to be the Kevin Owens Show tomorrow night. And it's going to be the Kevin Owens Show for as long as I want it to be.
A suited Universal Champion, Kevin Owens, is asked about his biggest match to date. Owens says that Goldberg has beat one man in 12 years, so it's not his biggest match. He's not impressed. He name drops the people he's beat as Ambrose, Rollins, Reigns, and Cena, and he's now
and Big Cass. He beat Big Cass.
Oh, he did. Left him out the list, I think. Owens promises to beat Goldberg tonight. He says that he is the best, and not even the mighty Goldberg can change that. It'll be the Kevin Owens Show for however long he chooses. Don't worry, though. Austin Aries is on the commentary team.
Purple ropes. Yeah, the canvas with the cruiserweight on it.
So Austin Aries has a wonderful package.
Let's have a look at that package.
Yeah. It means cock.
Do you get it?
It's a video package all about Austin Aries. Are they introducing him on 205?
He'd just become a commentator, and then he becomes the wrestler at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and he loses, doesn't he?
Yeah, which is short.
Against Neville, and that match ain't even on the DVD.
Which is what he gets really upset about and leaves for.
Because it weren't on the DVD.
Yeah, take it on. I don't know why. I mean,
it is a
It was the pre-show.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you got like 3 discs. Well, get it on. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't understand having the match and then not having it on. You know, Papa Shango, Tito Santana and all that, you know. Yeah, a man in his pants and an umbrella heads out. It's Gentleman Jack.
You can't say him now.
No, well, he's a bit of a... Well, you can, because he must be a little bit higher than Vince on the totem pole. In fairness to Gentleman Jack...
I don't think he pooed on anyone's head.
No, and in fairness to him, he was
That's why he had the brolic.
He was the one who went, as soon as this woman came out, he did go to WWE and say, this is what actually happened and this is what, he did own up to the fact that he was drunk and a bit of a prick. And got fired for it. So I'm not saying it was right, but, at least he took ownership of his own bullshit actions.
As Rihanna says, he's only owned up because he got caught.
Well, maybe, but at the same time, you can't just own up. You can't. It's a job interview. It's a job interview. You can't go before you hire me. All this shit has happened in my past. To be honest, I've got a little bit of sympathy with Jack Gallagher. Maybe he should have got fired because of what he's done. I accept that, but at least he took ownership. I am more surprised at the fact that he got a pay-per-view match looking like he does, because he must be the most opposite person to what Vince looks for.
Yeah, but I think he's ginger and pale character. He likes that because he is completely different, and it is a character. He got in a rumble, for God's sake.
Well, it is a stereotypical.
But Vince accepts a fat bloke.
I know he's very small.
Yeah, he's like little.
He's an MMA bloke as well, so he.
I think he went. I think he's fighting. He's a fighter now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I did like his theme.
Yeah.
Steve would.
So, the thing that's caused this is Neville was interrupted on 205 Live and laid out with a series of drop kicks.
Two British people? Fucking hell.
Yeah, they referenced that on commentary.
One from the north, one from wherever Gallagher's from. Where is he from?
It looks like he's just Cockney, doesn't he? He looks like he'd be a Cockney.
North and south.
He's from Marlow.
Marlow?
Neville is slowly but morphing into.
I'm gonna find him.
Neville is slowly morphing into Bastard Pack as both Englishmen's roots are put over before we are introduced to the Portuguese, the Russian, the Chinese, and the Japanese commentators.
Funaki's there.
Funaki's there. So I'm glad they always end with Funaki because it makes that segment.
How come Funaki stay in the package? That could have been Funaki.
Oh, that'd have been brilliant. Gallagher shows respect, offers his hand, but Neville wants none of it. Austin Aries on commentary and puts over Jack. Oh, Gentleman Jack.
Not me. I'm not gentle.
Yes, as a threat to Neville. Gallagher goes onto his head in the corner and plays bike game, suckering in Neville, then dropping his foot. Whoop! You'll run into me boots. I like that. That's a proper old school world of sport kind of spot.
Crowd like.
Yeah. Gallagher twists up Neville and drop kicks him down, so Neville walks it off. Neville threw Gallagher. Throws, should say. Neville throws Gallagher into the guardrails. Big missile drop kick gets Neville a 2. Neville now is in total control. Nice snap suplex. Neville lays in a big elbow to the head of Jack Gallagher and locks in a chin lock. Nice suicide dive by Gallagher. He follows up with a big belly to back suplex on the top rope. Gallagher is hung on the top rope, face planted down. Neville hits a huge release German suplex, which is replayed, and a Phoenix splash, but it does only get a 2. Neville kicks down Jack, but Gallagher recovers, hits 2 big headbutts. Neville somehow kicks out, which does get a pop from the crowd. I think at that point they did actually think Jack Gallagher could have won. Neville sidesteps and kicks Gallagher on to the apron. Gallagher recovers, hits a big headbutt. It seems like Gallagher believes this is his moment. Neville is out on the top turnbuckle, but he's dropped face first and rolls into the Red Arrow from Neville, who retains his Cruiserweight title to take it into Mania in a match that was taken off a DVD. Jack, thoughts on Gentleman Jack's match?
I was surprised how much time they gave it.
Yes.
In all fairness, because it is the Cruiserweight and they have no interest in it whatsoever. But I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed it. I thought the crowd cared. I thought they wanted something where there was high spots and flips and a strong character in Jack Gallagher. Neville feels like he's going to outgrow the Cruiserweight division soon.
Yes.
The character is developing as the king of the Cruiserweights.
Well, he will, because he'll outgrow it, the company.
Because I'll just leave because you won't move me out of 205.
And I got to lose to Enzo twice.
Yeah, good moves, quick, snap stuff, good flippy stuff. I thought the crowd liked it. It's helped by the fact that it's followed a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So But I did enjoy it. I was finally entertained after an hour and a half.
Goodness. Sam?
I quite liked the match. It was not your usual cruiserweight flippy nonsense, you know. It was a good technical match. And it was a nice bright spot on this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a really solid match. I think, again, the only thing I will say is this a little bit underdog again in the presentation. I think because the spots and the time, which is what I think they could have done better with the first match, was there, it allowed Gallagher to get those pops from the crowd when you thought he was going to win, even though everyone knew he wasn't going to win, which is fine. It's taken away Gallagher losing this, and actually Gallagher comes out better for the match, which is a credit to the match. Neville, to me, is maybe it's a disservice to 205 Live, because actually it doesn't hurt having a character like Neville as long as you're interested in the brand.
Yeah.
But everyone who ever watched 205 Live will know there was never any hope for
Jack,
because they were never gonna prioritise it.
No.
So in that case, move your good workers away from that show. And Neville's definitely outgrown the brand in terms of that.
It should have been linked with NXT, I think I said at the time. 205.
I think that's what you do, is you pick your one cruiserweight that you want to build up to get away from the cruiserweight. You do the Ray. You know what I mean? Ray can always be in the cruiserweight, but he's big enough not to. So it should have been Neville passing the torch to Austin Aries, who then should have been the next one, and you just keep him cycled like that. Because Jack Gallagher is never going to have a match against the Big Show on the pay-per-view, is he?
We'll have a look.
Yeah.
Did it ever happen?
No, I don't think so.
Heyman is in the back. He introduces himself. He says that his client has the right to be here tonight, as it's Fastlane. Okay.
I'm going to say, is it wrong that when I saw that bit, I kept thinking, why is he here for Roman? I'm not really confused. And then I went, oh shit, it's 2017, he's with Brocky.
Heyman puts over how his client wins either way ahead of Mania. If Goldberg wins, he takes the title. If Owens wins, then he'll expose a weakness that they haven't been able to find in Goldberg, and then they will expose it.
I thought Brock had just challenged Goldberg, not the Universal Champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if Goldberg wins, he can fight.
He can fight the champ,
because they've already said they've got he's fighting Goldberg at Mania.
Yeah. So either way, he wins because he gets a title match if Goldberg.
I got confused. I thought he was on about Brock.
It's an extremely clever. The biggest problem with this is that nothing happens from this.
I know.
Because it's a very clever little hook that it was probably the only hook that would have allowed them to get them out of the corner that they fucking mucked themselves into. But more of that later, because now we have some time to fill. It's the New Day.
We've got to get those purple ropes red.
Yeah. So WrestleMania hosts, they're out with an ice cream cooler. Xavier Woods puts over his new bike and they'll ride it into WrestleMania.
I've got a new bike.
I mean, I will say this. Big E is fucking amazing. He's just amazing. He just sort of humps the ice cream cooler box.
Stop humping it, Big E.
It is brilliant. I mean, it's pure filler, but it's where they are. They're just transcending the tag division, where if they fight in it, they have to win everything.
They're the Usos.
So let's take them away and just let them be entertaining goofs without having to.
Please stop up with the ice cream.
They are fun. They are.
Oh, it was so pointless.
Oh, really?
Of course it was.
I just thought, what was the point there? I know it's just to get the ring ready for Roman and Braun.
For Roman and Braun.
But they should have left it with Cruiserweight on it.
Our next match is put over as the Big Dog versus the Monster amongst men. We see a package highlighting Braun costing Roman the Universal title at Royal Rumble against Kevin Owens. And we see Roman getting dominated and sent through the guardrails. He gets sent into the buckle so hard it comes loose, but Roman will not back down.
Boo.
Boo's raining because Roman's coming out first. He's in desperate need of something fresh at this point. It'll only take a global pandemic for our dreams to come true.
I don't like his shoot because he had he looked like trainers with the white stuff. Because I think he even mentioned he only wore them once for something different, like with the white and stuff. I mean, just looked weird.
Didn't work.
No,
Braun follows him out and we're off. Braun has never been pinned or submitted on pay-per-view.
It's
so
the A trade.
is another pay-per-view or record we're looking at tonight. I do like the crowd having Braun's theme tune. I mean, that's fucking meta, isn't it? That's brilliant. Jill Sucks chants, let's go Roman, as Braun controls the ring. Roman hangs up Braun, gets some offense in, lays in a big clothesline to the outside. Braun drags out Roman to avoid the steel steps and side steps for Braun to go into them. Braun covers up and from hooks and punches and jabs in the corner and spine busters Roman down. He tosses Roman around a little, the nerve lock time. Braun avoids a Samoan drop to hit one of his own. Big splash, that gets him at 2. Braun sleepers down Roman, which Roman breaks out of, only to get face planted down on a choke slam. We work over to the announce table, and Roman avoids a power slam, pushing Braun into the ring post. Braun catches Roman on a drive-by, though, and sends him spine first into the post. Braun misses a shoulder tackle and is pummeled in the corner with clotheslines. And Roman hits the elusive Samoan drop. Braun avoids a Superman punch, clubs down Roman for a 2. Braun misses a big boot and crashes to the outside. Roman hits the drive-by, sets him up for the spear, but he's caught and he's slammed through the announce desk, which is a nice fluid move. In the ring, Roman out of nowhere is in. He hits a spear, which gets him a 2. Roman avoids Braun, hits 2 Superman punches, but runs into Braun, who's only stunned. Braun goes to the top rope, misses a big splash. He's up, big spear, and that is enough to beat the monster amongst men and keep Roman strong for Dead Man Taker. Sam.
Oh, this was just dull. When I watched it, I was like, can you just finish this now?
It's just pointless again.
I think that about every match though.
Yeah, but I mean, this one particularly, was it later on where it was, I've not finished with you story? With Braun and Roman. That was later, wasn't it?
Yeah, when he kept flipping cars.
Yeah, and ambulances and the grapple hook. It was just terrible.
It was ploddy. I thought it probably was worked better than some underdog stories because, again, at least it's not an underdog story, even though WWE keep presenting it. And that's why people are booing. You can't present an underdog story when we know that the underdog is not the underdog and going to win.
He's a big dog.
It's what I expected of these two in 2017, though. I'm not sure we need the match or the feud. Why does Braun need to lose a feud to a bloke who isn't really in a feud with him going up to Mania?
He has been feuded with him to a certain degree.
Well, yeah, but, maybe.
It's not mainly feuded.
I take your point. But that's my point now, isn't it? Is that at the end of the match at Mania, then it's Braun Roman, and then Roman is just inserted into the Rumble to have another feud with Taker, because we know that that's the name value. That don't make any sense to me. That just seems really counterintuitive, because what happened with Braun because of it is he had the Omos effect, didn't he? He fought because he was big, he fought the bigger names and he lost to the bigger names.
He beat Tyson Fury.
He did beat Tyson Fury. Yeah. He is probably the greatest boxer in the world.
Yeah, he went to beat with Saudi Arabia. That's all I'm saying.
Did he beat Tyson Fury?
Yeah,
Fury come out.
Fury just said I had to sell, so he just got up. He got pinned and then he just gets up.
We've got to watch that shit. Jack.
I didn't hate it as much as you two. The story, it makes no sense. I don't think it helps Braun at all. I can't remember what he does at Mania. He's probably in the Battle Royal. I think he's in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, and I think he's the first one out.
Wouldn't it have been better if he...
Because I was building up that he might win it, because obviously he was...
I just think he would have been better being involved in the Roman and take a few going up to Mania, you know.
See rebooking later, maybe. That happens. But this is... It's 17 minutes, so it's long. But Braun's got to work long at some point, so it maybe gets him ready. It don't lose me too much as I thought it would for the length of the match. I liked the spot with the table. I thought that was done pretty well with the power slam through it. I just don't like the fact that Roman just beats him really pretty cleanly. I know Braun just, for some reason, he goes to the top and tries a splash, which he's never done before.
Exactly.
And then Roman wins with the spear. I don't think the match needs to happen when this isn't the feud going into Mania, because Roman's beating a bloke that he don't need to beat in Braun, and it just hurts Braun so much that he has to be put in a non-important battle royal.
Yes.
When he was a strong new character.
Yeah, I agree completely. I just think it's such a waste of Braun, and they do it all the time. Some people don't need to be, and the problem when you have brands is everyone gets overexposed.
Yeah.
So in the back, Foley catches up with Joe and warns him not to get involved in the Universal title match. He warns if he does, there'll be hell to pay. And Joe looks at him and says, "You're really thin now and have a weird thing with
you look strange
with sort of like leather."
You what, mate?
Yeah.
All right.
I think I'll probably batter you. Bailey is living a dream. Christ, the product has no edge at the moment for the baby faces. They're all the same. Grateful going up against big baddies. Stephanie wants Bailey to give up the belt because she won the belt due to Sasha's interference, and quite rightly she says, "Fuck off." Charlotte heads out first.
Fuck off.
With Dana Brooke, but she sends her to the back. Charlotte wants to win it alone. Bailey is certainly over. There's no doubting that. She gives out hugs as the wavy men float around on stage.
The wavy men?
The big match introductions are given, and we are off for our title match. Bailey gives the signer point. That's the first one to do it tonight. Charlotte gives us a woo, and we get a few one counts.
Woo!
As both women vie for dominance. Bailey lays out Charlotte with from the apron with a nice Hurricane Rana to the outside. Crossbody inside gets a 2. Charlotte uses the ropes to escape the Bailey to belly. Charlotte gets aggressive with a clothesline on the outside and a vicious-looking sleeper hold. Massive knees gets Charlotte a 2. Head scissors pounds down and roll around as Charlotte teases the Flair strut. There's a massive chop and big boot, and the hardest part of the ring is used to continue the punishment on Bailey. There's a rear naked chokehold into a leg drop, and again that gets a 2. Moonsault is grazed, but Charlotte covers with a rolling senton for a 2. Massive chop by Bailey in place for sympathy, gets a clothesline out of the corner. Chops from Bailey now, and vintage Orton style sort of stunner. Belly to back suplex gets a 2 as the champ is now back in control. The crowd are quiet though. I think at this point they're just bored shitless of this show. Charlotte, because in fairness they are working really hard. Charlotte is hung up, feels a little botchy, but the elbow is sort of hit.
Bored shit.
Bailey is dragged into the turnbuckle.
Did someone say shit?
Well, the problem is obviously the main event's so short that you're near enough 3 hours into a show here.
Yeah. Hits a nice Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Macho Man style elbow gets a 2. Charlotte recovers with a big boot and natural selection for a 2. Bailey avoids the figure 8 and is thrown from the apron to the mats. Sasha Banks is out. She stops a moonsault and Bailey hits a Bailey to belly on the outside. Charlotte covers inside with a schoolboy, but Sasha distracts the ref. We find out afterwards that was to highlight that she grabbed the tights. The Bailey to belly, and Charlotte has lost on pay-per-view for the first time. Sam, thoughts on that?
I mean, it was okay, but again, it was just fucking boring. Too long, in my opinion.
I think this was the longest match.
I think the Roman match was the longest. The 17.
I just couldn't get into it. So, this is pointless.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the fact that Charlotte just loses her streak when you're so close to WrestleMania.
And you know what you're doing at Mania as well.
Well, yeah, no. But this is the thing. It's just...
You don't need to make her lose.
No, and I love Charlotte, and I think at this point she's the best wrestler in the world. Or one of the best wrestlers in the world.
She's without doubt the best women's wrestler.
Oh yeah,
in
and
the
even
world.
in terms of men, I think she's so good at what she does in terms of her character, in terms of people caring.
Can't argue with that.
I think she's. The problem is they evolved enough now. Yeah, that's another story. But Charlotte, I think she's so good. She should be the champion really because she's so good. Bailey has the title, and I think it's a bit of a crutch for her because she isn't fleshed out enough on the main roster yet for a character to be the champion. because Sasha's there, and it's a bit of a heel way to win, which I don't think fits with Bailey. And they don't do then, okay, we'll make the story of Sasha turns on Bailey. It just never happens, I don't think. But the match itself, what they do, I think, is quite well. The only real clunky bit is the elbow in the corner where they just don't get the timing right. But everything was done pretty well. It's a good match, but the problem is the story just isn't that good. And
well,
that's the problem with it.
Pretty much
Good
what I
matches
just
are fine, but you need a good story with it.
We know we're going to a 4-way at Mania. There's got to be a more creative way to do it, which protects everyone. And most of the match was fine, and I enjoyed it to the most part. I think it was fine. It didn't help the crowd just being so flat. But I I really struggle to understand what Sasha is. Like, I don't quite understand where her character stands in this. Because she's coming out to help her mate, but then she's competing with her mate at Mania. And her character isn't like babyface friend.
No.
You know,
they never say she had the ulterior motive and she's going to want to beat
Bailey. Keep the title on Bailey because she feels hers easy fodder or something. If that was the angle, to a certain extent, I can accept it. But if that was the case, I think you don't need to give away Charlotte's pay-per-view loss.
That's the problem.
For absolutely no build.
Yeah, just
she lost the. It's like if bloody Taker just happened to lose to Bundy or something like. Oh, by the way, he lost his bloody streak. Like it just
to an egg in his
It just weak. We get a review of Seth Rollins saying he might not make WrestleMania. Oh, Seth.
Haven't we heard this before?
Just do a different gimmick.
Stop hurting your knee.
Yes. Goldberg is back.
You are not fighting in February.
We see his 26 seconds win over Lesnar, which was fantastic. Did it need a title? Obviously not. We see the amazing Festival for Friends turn by Owens on Jericho. But there's been no real interaction with him since. I think Jericho's been sort of written off. Goldberg chants do reign in now. It's easy for us to criticise 7 years on and we know what's going to happen. And we don't. But I've got to say the crowds are very, very much pro Goldberg. It's not like he's going to win boo. Like it genuinely is pro Goldberg at this point.
Oh, we like to see Goldberg, just not to see him win.
Yeah, and his entrance is just phenomenal. Like it is a really good entrance, and it does feel like a big match.
Yeah.
After a decade, Goldberg is back. Kevin Owens gets a few cheers as he heads out because I think some fans probably cotton on
what's coming
to what's going to happen.
Oh God, no!
Don't do it to me.
Yeah. So it's Goldberg's. It's the Goldbergs. It's Goldberg versus Kevin Owens.
Whoopee.
We get the big match call as Owens holds defiantly the title in the air. Cleverly, the referee hasn't rang the bell yet as Owens heads to the outside. He's going to stall, and stall some more. Owens decides he wants the bell, and just as he calls for the bell, Jericho's theme plays. Jericho is out. He distracts Owens long enough for him to be speared pretty poorly, jackhammered, and it is over. Jericho has cost Owens the belts.
Fuck.
The thing worst of it is, there is no doubting. I don't think Jericho can quite get away from his true feelings of this because you can see that he is slightly pissed off at it as well, especially because he's not a big fan of Goldberg in real life anyway. I don't think it helps.
I fought you once.
I mean, there's nothing to comment other than to comment on it existing, really, because there's no match.
He shows his child the belt.
Yeah.
Look at, I did like 30 seconds work here.
Yeah.
Look what I got.
Jack.
Goldberg, what a man. He's so, there's never been.
I do it for my
honestly,
TV.
I don't think in wrestling there's ever been a bigger mark for themselves than Goldberg.
Not even Brett.
He thinks it's real. I'm sure he just can't get away that if I lose to someone, that's not believable. I'll beat everyone.
I think on his own DVD he said something about Ray, that he could have a match with Ray Mysterio.
He's such like he just don't understand wrestling, but he's so such a character that you got to use him. He doesn't need the belt. No. The be all and end all is Goldberg. What it does is it gives a tiny bit more to Goldberg Brock, but it takes so much away from Owens and Jericho. So why would you take a load away from one match that's been the driving force of Raw and the WWE really for 6 months? The main thing is Owens and Jericho. So we're going to take all the steam away from that and give a tiny little bit more to a match that's already
they've done it
anyway. So why does it need
when
the
they're
belt?
part-timers, they only need to have the 2 or 3 big moments. The first match, and the Rumble is enough. That's the hook. Brock Lesnar and Heyman does all the work. He's done it. We can't find a weakness in Goldberg. That's enough.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar finally can't find a weakness in Goldberg. What does he need the belt? You don't need the belt.
It would have been good if he did he'd be Braun or something like that.
Yeah.
At least this is a big man, and he can.
Jericho and Owens should have been all about the belt. That Jericho's kept the belt on him. Now he's got to fight him because of his selfish reaction and all that. And I'm going to take the belt off you. And if you want to go into the summer with Brock as your champion, the next pay-per-view, Brock fights Jericho, beats him because no fucker would care. We're not longing for a. Yeah, exactly. You're not longing for a big long Jericho run with the belt. It's just. I can understand why Jericho went. This is enough for me now. Like I'm pretty much done here because he's such poor booking.
Well, it's helping anybody who's going to be there next week or whatever, or in 2 weeks, because it just hampers the people who are there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that sometimes they get hit up with belts. I know that sounds very Russo. But certain matches, if they want, it wasn't main event anyway, was it, Goldberg?
No, Roman.
Well, then there's a perfect example. That didn't have a belt. Like, if you feel that
he was retiring, or
I know,
but then he went, that was awful.
But even then, they didn't hype that.
No,
they didn't, no. Some of the booking decisions around this time, and
that made
it's almost as if Vince was distracted with other things.
Yeah, 7 years later, he had a lot of toilet paper.
Sam, do you want to put more of a downer on this?
It was just wrong, or why did you do this? I think as soon as the match got booked, people knew. Oh no!
It's like with Fiend versus Goldberg, and get joking.
No,
you're going to do that again? Oh, God.
It just don't help Goldberg either. Like, I don't know.
Well, he loses. I think Goldberg loses all the goodwill because the fans love him. Like, he's been gone.
Yeah.
If he is over, the fans love him.
It's like a certain Brahma Bull who's inserted himself into something where there's a character that everybody loves, which was Owens, and here is Cody. And now you're taking that away from us, so you will now fear my wrath.
This did it 11 years ago with a certain punk as well.
In defence of the Brahma Bull that we might be talking about, I can't think of who it might be, but assuming it's the same, we're thinking of the same one.
It's The Rock.
It's just like that.
In fairness to him,
former UFC
no one has seen Roman versus versus Rock. And I think Rock would have been clever enough to recognise they didn't need the belt if the circumstances were reversed. So I don't think...
he ain't coming in and taking the belt to fight Roman.
Yeah, and I can't for the life of me... If you're trying to build WWE now as a brand outside of its bubble, people can moan on Twitter all they want, but unless you are a fan... Cody versus Roman is not as big as Roman versus The Rock.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they've done 2 years.
But I don't think that Goldberg versus Brock 2, 3, 4, whatever it was, on pay-per-view in the middle of a WrestleMania meant that we had to ruin our best storyline because of it. So, it's hard, I think, to link the two. But I do see your point, and WWE has a fetish for fucking bringing part-timers in and just fucking ruining their storylines to suit it.
At this time of year, the rest of the year, maybe 1 or 2 for SummerSlam, but even then they don't fuck that up. It's always Rumble to Mania, everybody's like, oh God, who's coming back and ruining this?
I just half wish that they're doing all that good work with Austin leading up to WrestleMania 14, then somehow managed to steal Hulk Hogan away from WCW.
Well, that was
exactly, and then it was Hogan versus Shawn, and then that was the way they went. Because that's the kind of shit they would do. Yeah, that's what I mean. All warrior signs, and they go, "Sorry, Steve, we know you're the hottest thing."
Oh, that would have been amazing.
So, I mean, overall, thoughts on this show?
Oh, it's really bad. Well, it's just so dull. That's the problem. It ain't so much that there's bad wrestling.
No, God, there's no
It's just raw.
There's no Supreme on this.
I would have loved it. Some mouse traps. But 3 hours. It's 3 hours, and God, it is really dull. There are a lot of stories that I enjoyed coming out of this. There was probably one match that I thought hit the mark in terms of what it was doing, but it was the most irrelevant, really. Well, one of the most irrelevant. Yeah. So it was really dull. I can't recommend anybody watch it ever.
No, God. There is the only morbid curiosity is Goldberg's title win,
and maybe Mick Foley's face when he calls the call. Little schoolboy Foley,
Scamps for Foley,
little rascal.
He's made another gimmick. It's 5 for the Rumble now.
This is just Raw that you had to pay for, apparently.
I'd agree. Yeah. I thought. Overall, I was pretty bored for most of the early parts. 3 hours. There's just not enough depth of story for a February pay-per-view that is 3 hours. This isn't No Way Out 2003. This is like you've got your WrestleMania card set. It's done. Do we need a pay-per-view? No. If we're gonna do it as a 2 hour in-your-house special kind of pay-per-view.
2 hours. The B pay-per-view is where they become brand exclusive, and they're on a network which everybody's paying for anyway. Just do them as 2 hours.
I like the fact that WWE seem to have cottoned on to the fact now that not every pay-per-view needs Roman Reigns. Sometimes it's fine to focus on the woman's title or even the Inter, or they're strong enough within themselves to do that, and that's the right way to do it. I don't think this WWE was that brave, though. I think they look at it and think, why will anyone buy a pay-per-view if Goldberg isn't in the fucking main event?
We lost one buy because they didn't want Goldberg.
Yes, so, round table then, match of the night.
I mean, I'm going to go for the Cruiserweight title because in ring it was probably the one I enjoyed the most, and it had the right winner. So.
I'm going to go Samoa Joe v Sami Zayn.
On the basis you have done that, then I'll go with what I had put, which was the Cruiserweight title, because I think those two are the only two matches that are worth anything. Worst match of the night?
I mean, there's a lot, but I ain't going to go for the title match, even though it is. It ain't really a match, so I can't really shit on that, but it doesn't really happen. I'm going to go Cesaro Jinder because it's 8 minutes and it was absolutely pointless. It was so
really bad for Cesaro, guys.
Because he did really well. When he was MVP, Cesaro had a great show. He looked brilliant.
Yeah, get that man out of the tag division that you've just put him into. Sam?
I'm going to go Roman Braun just because of how boring it was.
I'm surprised that's got a vote, to be honest, but I've gone for Sasha versus Nia. I can't have Sasha being bent over for fucking 3 hours like it just dragged on me. No, sorry.
That's a different show.
Sorry. MVP.
What?
I know what everyone's LVP is going to be.
MVP, there aren't many. I liked Big Show's punch, but I'm going to go Joe. I think Joe looked good, so I'll go for Joe.
I'm going to give Gentleman Jack. I think his match, he come out like a credible contender for a belt that I don't think he had any chance of winning, so I'll go with him.
I'm going to go with Joe as well.
Yep. LVP.
What are we all going? Who are we all going for?
Well, it's obviously Kevin Owens, isn't it? I mean, he comes out.
What about Jericho? He looked a bit daft.
Well, Jericho.
I'm going to go with any of them.
You're going to go the whole brand.
I'm going to go with Raw.
Raw, yeah. It's probably true. Yeah. I don't think if I'd have just turned this on for the first time ever, I'd have any interest in watching the Monday Night Raw. Yeah. So I think that's a fair point.
We've just watched one.
Yeah, that's true. For me, though, Kevin Owens comes out. You've got it. It's, poor Kevin Owens. Right, we take the task of rebooking Fastlane 2017 and doing it differently and ultimately much better. I assume we've all got cards. I know I always ask that. I don't know why you wouldn't. I haven't. I've got a dance.
And a pre-show.
I'm going to save you then.
I've got just 8 matches.
Jack. So I'm going to open with you then, Sam, for your...
So, first match, you get it out of the way. Reigns v Braun. If you got to book it. But make it like a brawl and probably have no contest or something. Try and get Roman over as a big dog.
As a big dog.
Yeah. Tag titles, I changed it because I couldn't remember who any other tag team. So, Good Brothers v Enzo and Cass, just change the finish. Women's title, I would actually make Bayley v Nia instead.
Yeah.
And have Bayley win, do the underdog thing there.
Yeah.
Charlotte v Sasha, I would make that the number 1 contenders match and have like a no contest, so at least you can properly lead to the fatal 4-way or whatever. US title match, Jericho v Joe. I'm sure Jericho was US champion.
Yes, he is.
And I would have Joe win it.
Yeah.
Which will lead to the main event later. Next match, I would have the Bar v Jinder and Rusev and do the breakup angle here. Do something. At least.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, we ain't attacked no more, give me a match.
and we now must lose.
Exactly, so do the break up here or something, give it something. Cruiserweight title, I've had Neville v Grand Metalik because
absolutely. It just loves him. There's no reason in the world to do that. Makes it worse.
Neville wins
I do love the fact that I've discovered that you really love
He loves him for some reason. And Universal title match, I would keep it as Owens Goldberg, but have Brock cost Goldberg.
That makes him look a bit daft.
Well, he is daft. Don't bang your head off the wall, you silly horse.
No, I mean Brock.
Well, Brock isn't. Goldberg.
I suppose it comes back to what Heyman says. Would he want him to have the belt more than finding a weakness?
But he won't find a weakness if he cost you.
What if he was creative about the way that he found the weakness, which is my booking, isn't it?
Someone like basically Goldberg is not winning. He's not winning the belt. So Owens and Jericho, they carry on. You could have
his
Owens
weakness is his grey beard.
No, but he's brown on his kid. He's going to beat up his kid.
That's what I've done. That's exactly what I've done.
It's brown when it was brown on the.
But Bobby Lashley did he beat up Goldberg's kid? He could have done it so many years before.
Yeah, and I believe his kids are mark enough to do it as well. I mean, obviously, probably here he's a bit too young to.
No one believe that. My daddy told me.
But yeah, that's my card.
Well, I've got to be honest. I was tempted to do a Sam and just go, well, if I was honest with you and you're asking me whether I would rebook it, I wouldn't have the show. I don't think it serves any purpose other than to make these sort of decisions that are really difficult to get around.
Well, at least have a dual brand.
But obviously that's a bit of a weak sort of choice of rebooking. So my opener match would be Neville versus Gallagher. I think it changes the dynamic of having to add in filler for the ropes because the ropes can start purple. So I would have as was. I've got no issues with that. We go into. I would also have this as no longer than 2.5 hours, probably 2 hours 20 at most. Enzo and Cass versus Gallagher and Anderson. And I would
Gallagher and Anderson.
Did I say Gallagher?
Yeah.
He's replaced Gallows. Gallows and Anderson. And I would pull the trigger on the title run here. I think, well, not run, but I would have them win the belts. Yeah. So then there's a natural reason for a rematch at Mania. And who was the third team? I know Hardy's come back.
The Bar.
No, I've got no issues with that. Sasha versus Nia to face Bayley at Mania. Sasha would win. I would definitely not have a win with a roll-up or anything like that. And then I would have Nia batter Sasha after the match. Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. Longer, but the same outcome. I think it's sensible to build Joe as a real killer in this card. Now, again, I'm going to keep the thread of Stephanie McMahon is stuck on an aeroplane and has told Foley There's 2 main event matches here tonight with the belts. Don't fuck them up. But if you do, I'm calling Angle. So Bayley versus Charlotte. I'd have this ending a no contest due to Nia Jax coming out and destroying both women. That protects Charlotte's record, but it also puts Nia Jax in a reason to be put in the 4-way after Sasha has just won. And it also protects Bayley, so she's not got this weird, I'm a babyface, but I'm looked after by creepy, weird heel people. So, and also, again, it feeds into the storyline with Stephanie and Foley that this has sort of happened on his watch. And then main event time is Goldberg versus Kevin Owens. I'd have Jericho attack Owens before he even gets down the ramp. Jericho's back, he's battering him. Owens tries to get out of the match for this. I'm injured, I can't. Foley says, look, he's worried about Stephanie's reaction to not having a title match. You've got to fight him. You've got to fight him. Heyman would have his same promo from earlier, but he would say he's found Goldberg's weakness. And ironically, it's what he thinks is his biggest strength, which is his son. Yeah. So Brock comes out, teases going for Goldberg's family, which obviously causes Goldberg to get himself out of the match. And they have a big brawl. Security, police, almost like think Brock Taker, that kind of esque of brawl. Everything. It's almost like Wolves and Plain Albion, and they can't control it. 40 minutes later,
ruin British sport.
Instead of Albion being Wolves getting a 10-minute restart for pointless reasons, their police decide, look, we can't start the match, and we'll have to call it off. And then Foley, obviously, and Steph have got an angle. Goldberg hasn't taken any offence and has beaten up Brock.
Not delivered any.
Yeah, not delivered any. Owens and Jericho has been kept hot, and you've kept the title on Owens, which is the right thing to do. You silly old goat, Vince.
Silly old goat.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to pre-show.
Yeah, is it now under?
So the panel, the panel. So I've got a match in the segment. The segment mainly is just Sasha and Dana. I'm going to be in the office of Mick Foley, the little scamp, and they're both going to be wanting to be in the corners of Bayley and Charlotte. So he's going to book a match where the winner of the match can be in the corner of their respective person on the show. So the pre-show, there's one match. It's now and Dar. Now he is going to want to impress Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox. I want to impress that. So he's going to have a match. And the man that he's going to fight is... No. 205 Beach Show is going to come out.
Yeah, is he the new number one contender?
This is their cruiserweight champion. It's just going to be pretty cool.
I want to see
comedy. It's pretty show. Don't give a shit. Match 1 on the show is Sasha Banks v Dana. The winner can be in the corner of their respective person. Sasha Banks wins. Okay. Match number 2 is Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. Samoa Joe will win, as has happened in real life. Match number 3 is Jinder and Rusev. We're going to try and get on the same page. Give us a tag match. It's against Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass win. Jinder and Rusev. We lost again.
Yeah.
Let's have a fight.
Just a fight.
Match 4, Cruiserweight title. I'm switching who's
Do they say at the end, I will see you in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle
Royal. And if you're hiding behind Grand Metalik, I'll smack you so hard, you son of a bitch. I'll smack the Gronk out of you. Match 4 is Neville versus Rich Swann. I've got, because Rich Swann was the champion. He only dropped it last month, I believe. Yeah. So he will have his rematch. Neville shall win. Match number 5 is tag titles. It's Gallows and Hanson versus The Bar. Their rematch. I'm having The Bar win. They become tag team champions.
Yeah.
Which then gives you, like you, but just a different team, a reason to have the big
The Bar in there, yeah. It's hard to be one of the two.
Match 6 is Braun versus Roman in a last man standing. Now I've got Roman in. He had a last man standing at Royal Rumble against Kevin Owens for the belt. So he is doing 2 in a row. But the reason is, he's going to have him down, he's going to go for the spear, the lights are going to go out, they come back on, Mr. Taker, all belly Taker himself, he's going to goozle Roman.
I've been eating Scotch eggs.
Scratching Taker is going to choke slam Roman through a table. Braun wins last man standing, but then Braun is going to power slam Taker and lay out Taker, so Braun looks strong, he wins the match. So I would that then it would be a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Well, got the rumor
the main
at the time
event.
that it was Braun.
It wouldn't be the main event, because the
it
main event's going to be Owens. But the next match is the Raw Women's title match. It's Bayley with Sasha versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte's going to win the belt, keep the streak going. We're going into Bayley. Sasha is out there with Bayley. She would probably inadvertently cost her.
Yeah.
And then I would probably do Sasha Bayley, where Sasha's going to be the heel. Charlotte is the champion. I would do the 4-way at Mania still, but Charlotte's going to be the champion because she's the best worker and she is the best woman on the roster. Main event is Kevin Owens versus Goldberg. It's going to happen for the belt. It's going to end up with a bit of a smoz. So Brock is going to come out looking like he's thinking he's going to, beat up Goldberg or whatever, but he's going to sort of pull the referee out when Owens looks like he's going to win.
Yeah.
Because he wants Goldberg to win the belt. Jericho's going to come out and then he's going to pull the ref out when it looks like Goldberg's going to win because he wants to win the belt from Owens at Mania. So then it all just ends up in a bit of a smalls and gets throughout. In AFL 4-way, it's still Owens versus Jericho, which should be the main event.
Yeah.
I would do title for title because they both have a belt.
Mm-hmm.
Universal and US. And Goldberg versus Brock is kept intact without the title because it doesn't need it.
I agree.
And that would be the end.
That's the whole
Goldberg's child will be the last shot and he should be crying because his dad now looks pathetic.
Yeah.
He's made kids cry because he didn't win.
Yeah. Bloody hell, Dad.
Dad, you let me down again.
Just
Try
retire.
that beard.
Well, if you feel that you could have rebooked Fastlane 2017 and done a different way to make sure that Goldberg didn't win, because let's face it, anyone who ever rebooks it is definitely booking Goldberg to lose, let us know at our website, which is bettercallcreative.org, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. We round out the episode, as we always do, with a fantasy card. And as the WWE have a horrible way of ruining WrestleMania in the month of February, or certainly the months leading up to it, we thought we would look back at some WrestleManias past and find a creative way to ruin it in some form or fashion. Did we all get 6 Manias to ruin?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to open with you, Jack, for your...
Well, I'll keep with the theme of Goldberg Brock, and I'll just have Brock defeat Eddie Guerrero at No Way Out. So Eddie never wins the belt, and then it becomes Goldberg v Brock. We're both leaving, but it's still a WWE title.
Austin wins
as well.
And Austin wins. So that is that.
I've got Mania 5, Mega Powers will be exploding, or will they? Well, of course, Big John Studd won the Rumble.
Oh.
He wants the Rumble win. He's sorted it out. Saturday night's main event. He's defeating Savage for the title, and he's going to defend it against Andre at Mania 5.
My God. Andre Studd.
Yeah.
No, he should have won the belt and then still been the ref for Andre.
No belt.
I like that bit.
No belt.
Yeah, I'm having that. I'm stealing that.
Right,
Yeah, Sam.
my first match, Jax just nicks it. It's Brock returning at No Way Out. 0-4. So Brock v Goldberg for the belt. Both still leaving. Still the same shit match. Then Goldberg wins. That's it.
So, Jack?
Well, I've got Mania 5 as well with Savage, but I was going to have Savage and Hogan never explode. They just beat the Twin Towers. And then Studd then obviously is the one contender, so it's just Savage v Studd at WrestleMania.
Who would
And
Hogan
Mania ends. Well, Hogan can fight Akeem.
Oh, Boston.
Hogan can be in the corner of Savage.
He can ref the
He's going to win and become WWF champion, and the confetti falls, and Donald Trump gets in the ring and raises Studd's hand.
You know, Studd was younger than AJ Styles was at Royal Rumble recently. Now, when he won that Royal Rumble, he was younger.
He looked like he was about to die. He looked so old.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, AJ is older than Studd when Studd won the belt.
That's
and AJ
amazing.
was in the main event. It's beautiful. It's a
I never
beautiful
knew
thing.
that. He looked about 70.
Brilliant.
God.
Mania 10, double main event is set, except for they're going to sort it out beforehand. So Lex versus Brett. Lex wins, and then Lex beats Yoko via countouts at Mania. We have a second confetti moment.
We saw half Nick Martin again. You two have Nick Martin. Marty's Luger just wins the Rumble on his own, but he still loses at Mania. That's it.
I ain't got any Luger. Mania 25. Sean's beat JBL. He's become I'm going to fight Taker, but then Kozlov beat Sean. So Kozlov Taker.
Oh, because it was like a mini tour.
And I think they was going to have Kozlov win, so I'm going to have Kozlov win.
The end of the streak.
No streak.
The streak. It's over.
Mania 14. Austin is on the road to WrestleMania, but of course there is a stop in No Way Out in Texas. And during that 8-man tag, Savio beats Austin. Yeah, did it again.
Yes, done it again.
Savio. So Savio has to take Austin's place, and Savio beats Sean.
Okay, slightly different. There is a match that we were going to do before this, but instead, Savio just replaces Sean like he did at No Way Out. That's it. So Savio Austin. That's it.
Brilliant. The Caribbean strap match 2.
Yeah. WrestleMania 22.
When the lights go off like it did at...
Randy Orton defeated Rey Mysterio for his Royal Rumble win at No Way Out. Ray got it back by basically Teddy going, go on then. But this time Teddy will go, no, if you lost the match, it's Orton Angle. So it's Orton Angle. And Angle can retain.
Yeah. And you will be in the battle.
Yeah, you'll be in the battle royal with Viscera. Alright?
It's still
your own fault. You shouldn't have put it up.
Won, you did. WrestleMania 26. Sean has been trying to convince Undertaker to fight him. but he fails. He fails, and Undertaker fights Carly. And Sean sits in the crowd and watches, like, seen depressed. And Undertaker loses. I'm just going to have him lose to Carly just to add to
Why
the
not?
hilarity. Why not?
WrestleMania 6, they've still signed Hogan Warrior. They've saying it's title for title. But Hogan loses the belt to Perfect. But it's still Hogan Warrior. Bricked up for the end.
And at the end,
Perfect
Hogan loses. He's looking down depressively.
I didn't want this anyway.
Not bothered.
The Perfect still loses to Beefcake.
Beefcake ends the show as world champ.
No, if you don't end the show, it's the same.
That's what I mean.
Fifth in the show out of 14 matches.
Dear me. What a mania. WrestleMania 24. Flair's obviously on his I can't lose before Mania to fight Sean. But at No Way Out, he loses his career match to Ken Kennedy. So Sean just has to twiddle his thumbs at Mania because Flair has let him down and lost already. So it's just not booked.
He's Dennis Stamp on that book.
Yeah. Dennis Stamp replaces Ric Flair.
If I win a match, I'll get a contract.
WrestleMania 27. We've got an elimination chamber who's going to fight the Miz. Well, assuming Miz is successful in defending against Jerry Lawler. That's one thing.
No.
But he is successful, and then he watches the elimination chamber, and it is won by R-Truth, setting up Rock versus R-Truth at the next 2 Manias following.
Once in a lifetime.
Get the revenge for the Survivor Series loss. Next one, WrestleMania 8. Sid beats Flair on the Saturday night's main event. So it's Sid v Hogan for the belt. Hogan wins and still walks off for you. He can ruin 8 and 9.
Brilliant. Did Sid fight? They didn't have a belt.
No, it was Taker and Flair v Sid and Hogan, and that's when Sid turned.
Even though he had already.
Yeah, and he threatened to punch Beefcake, but because I think
everyone does that.
Oh no, you can't do that. He's got a broken face.
Oh dear. Mania 2. It's Hogan.
Should say Mania 2.
Mania 2 is supposed to be Hogan Bundy, and Bundy is the one who splashes him.
Yeah.
But Vince looks around and sees a bigger, fatter man who can turn heel on him. So it's Uncle Elmer and the hillbillies who turn heel on Hogan. And it's Elmer v. Hogan in the cage.
The work rate
Hogan
in that
can win.
match.
Elmer's got a blade as well, poor bloke.
He ain't climbing up that fucking thing.
Mania be a bigger blocks on the cage.
It's just a square with nothing in the middle, so we can climb it.
Mania 31, Brock versus Roman. Both men are down. Mr. and the Money in the Bank is out, but unfortunately, the Money in the Bank briefcase changed hands at Fastlane from Seth to Stardust. So Stardust wins the belt, therefore finishing his story before it even started.
And that's what it's WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
Just Angle retains at no way out, so it's Austin Angle.
You think you're
An individual angle.
What? If you've got to ruin a Mania, do the biggest one.
So Rock v Kane or
Rock v Benoit.
How is
The
it
one we
Benoit?
build up. You're a better wrestler than me, I've had you.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you feel that you're going to ruin WrestleMania in a creative way
WWE have already thought of that.
in February, and let's face it, WWE still find a way to do that. Let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.org, or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. We're not done with the month of March. Before we hit our WrestleMania, which is the bright lights of WrestleMania 11, we will be celebrating all things musical as we dust off and tickle the ivories and we check out some of wrestling's gimmicks around music, and also feuds that had music very much throughout. We're not talking about theme tunes and stuff like that, but we might be back for a Wrestle Cup of Worst theme tunes.
It's been a while since we've dusted off that cup.
Yeah,
Viscera still hadn't posted it back. Viscera waited.
Was Viscera's theme bad, though? I don't think that he could win. I don't even
No,
think
it's just he always seemed to win the Wrestle Cup.
I think he might not win this one if it's worse.
What about his shit sort of attitude era one?
We can't just put Viscera in. If we've got to come up with the 32 words, we cannot.
Yeah, but that was very
possibly
good.
Nah, it was very good.
Yeah, but bringing IRS.
3 day have one.
I'm sure he had that
Type
file thing, which I don't think he ever did. Actually.
No,
Yeah,
it was
never
just
had
for
it,
the
just for the
game.
Which is crap, really, because when he wins said Battle Royal at Raw 15, he's got a whole
like a
different
noose
one.
thing. He's like a drinking noose.
So someone's got round and they said, Jim, IRS is winning a match here. We need a new theme.
Well, even then he gets paid off to lose. I've been waiting for a theme for so long. I had to retire to get a theme.
I can't believe we've ended this podcast talking about IRS. But we will be back, yes, in March to check that out, and then we will be on the road to WrestleMania 11. Do join us on that road then. But it leads me to say from Jinder Mahal's secret opponent, Jack Chan.
Goodbye.
And from Rusev's secret opponent, Sam Chan.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.